Wrap Master. Application steps and procedures for installing the Permaglass composite system. Step 1. Check the Permaglass reinforcement kit items. The kit contains the system's 3 primary components: rolls of fiberglass fabric, a filler kit, and a saturant resin kit that may be used as a primer. The dump kits include both parts A and B. The kit also contains accessories needed for installation, including 2 squeegees to saturate the fabric, 2 stir sticks to mix the primer, application sticks, a trash bag, mylar film to protect the table during the wet-out process, sponges to apply the primer, a roll of duct tape, 2 putty knives to mix the filler, a 1-quart cup to mix the resin, and 10 pairs of latex gloves. Additional items needed for the installation process include a roll of compression film, a perforating tool for perforating the compression film, acetone, MEK, or toluene to use as a solvent. For buried pipe, 2 sets of ILI magnets. Step 2. Preparing the pipe surface before installation. The pipe should be grit blasted at a minimum of NACE 3 or SA2. The key is to provide an anchor pattern 3 to 5 inches beyond the width of the repair zone. After the pipe has been media blasted, use an approved solvent to remove any residue such as oil and dust prior to installation. Make sure to allow sufficient time for the solvent to flash. Step 3. Mixing the filler putty and primer. When mixing the filler, a clean mixing surface and a putty knife will be required. Pre-mix parts A and B for 30 seconds, then mix together for 60 seconds. After scraping the edges of the mixing area, continue to mix for another 60 seconds and until it is streak-free and uniform in color. The viscosity of the filler should be enough to hold the putty to the mixing surface when flipped upside down. The primer consists of part A and part B. Using the provided stir sticks, begin by dumping part A into the 1-quart mixing cup and immediately after, add in part B into the cup. After mixing for 60 seconds, clean the edges of the mixing cup using the stir stick. Continue mixing until a uniform color is achieved and no streaks are present. Identifying the composite repair zone and the primer zone. The primer zone will always be at least 2 inches beyond either side of the composite repair zone and should be marked with tape to ensure proper coverage. Step 4. Applying the filler material. Apply the filler over the defect area using just enough filler to reach a near net pipe profile. For this repair demonstration, we will be utilizing the spiral wrap method. The spiral technique is used on longer repairs or smaller diameter pipes where the layer over layer method is not as efficient. Step 5. Wetting out the fabric. Begin by pouring both parts A and B of the resin into the provided 1-quart mixing cups and mix for 2 minutes. Once the saturant resin has been thoroughly mixed, pour a small amount onto the table and spread it evenly across the table using the squeegees. Once the wet out area is evenly covered, unroll the fiberglass fabric on the table and begin saturation. Once the fabric is completely saturated and the excess resin has been removed, begin to roll the wet fabric evenly onto the applicator stick. Continue the wet out process until the entire roll is saturated. Step 6. Applying the primer. Slowly pour the designated primer onto the pipe while using the sponges to achieve 10 to 30 mils of coverage around the entire repair zone. Use caution while going over the filler material to avoid displacement. After the primer application, remove the marking tape. Step 7. Installing the Permaglass composite fabric. Using the spiral wrap method. Position the material 2 inches from the edge of the primer zone and begin wrapping the fabric around the pipe while maintaining consistent tension. After completing 2 overlapping layers, apply firm tension and continue wrapping at an angle with a 50% overlap. While applying the wet out fabric, remove air pockets by maintaining steady tension on the roll and massaging the fabric in the direction of the wrapping while maintaining proper alignment. Pull the wrap tightly after receiving the roll and watch closely for any slack forming along the leading edge. For pipes with an outer diameter greater than 24 inches, tighten the wrap both after receiving the roll and again before passing it around the pipe. When additional rolls are needed, overlap the edges by 6 inches. Continue wrapping until 2 inches from the opposite edge of the primer zone. Then apply 2 overlapping layers before reversing direction. Repeat this process until the number of layers achieves the design layer count. Each pass equals 2 layers due to the 50% overlap. For buried pipe, ILI marker magnets must be installed between the first and second layer of the fabric. Step 8. Applying the compression film. Once the repair zone wrap is complete, apply 4 layers of compression film over the repair zone, maintaining consistent tension during the entire process. It is important that the application of the compression film is applied in the same direction as the wet-out fabric. Using the perforating tool, lightly perforate the compression film over the entire composite repair zone and allow to cure. Once the resin has cured, carefully remove the compression film from the wrap. Using a durometer, measure the hardness of the composite. The minimum acceptable hardness reading is 70 SURE D. Finally, the completed repair is now ready for an approved coating.